Alright, here we go again with this. With another one. Oh my god. The video game industry today is a gigantic beast compared to how it was back then. It's almost insane how much video games have progressed throughout the past 4 decades. From the early 2D pixelated games that attracted children everywhere to the multi-million-dollar budgeted games filled with realistic graphics and talented actors such as Keanu Reeves and Norman Reedus.
Is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
We used to have basic stories of saving the princess trapped in a castle, but now we have complex narratives that tackle the main issues of our society today.
My name is Marcus, and just like you, I was a slave. An object. Designed to obey them. But then I chose to open my eyes.
Playing video games used to be looked down upon as a waste of time, but now it's a profession where millions and millions of fans watch their favorite teams fight it out in multi-million-dollar tournaments. Not just for money, not just for fame, but for moments like these.
Rush with an off angle, looking towards the apps position. The Molotov comes in, but so does the rotation. Olaf Maestro has been taken out towards the B bomb site, but Automatic's going towards A. Nothing else is going on. He's got to go back. Stewie's on his own, but look at the time. Look at the time. There's 7 seconds to blow the bomb. They're trying to build pyramids, but there's no more play. Stewie's won the round. We go to overtime.
Talbot have done it! How have they done that? They came back all the way!
But wait, man, how does this relate to the title of the video? Look, this is just between you and me, but I'm getting there. Look, all this doesn't even scratch the surface to how much the industry has evolved over the years. The gaming industry's revenue in 2018 was bigger than the digital music and movie industries combined. $17 billion and $41 billion. Standing tall at $116 billion and is only $11 billion more than the television industry. And at the center of it all are 3 companies: Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Microsoft's strength and players mostly come from their previous generation, full of nostalgia and success of the Xbox 360 compared to the lackluster Xbox One. Sony's power comes from their exclusive titles boasting powerful visuals, stories, and developers, and have redeemed themselves from their financial troubles of the PS3. Most will call them the kings of this generation of consoles. But where does Nintendo stand in this? Do they even stack up against these 2 giants? Are they even good enough? Well, the answer is yes. So to first understand Nintendo's success today, we're gonna have to go back in time. Nintendo was born in Japan, on a side street within the city of Kyoto. It was created by a businessman and crafter Fusajiro Yamauchi on September 23rd, 1889. The business was focused around the production and marketing of handcrafted flower cards, otherwise known as Hanafuda cards. Inspired by traditional Japanese games and the Western style of 52-deck playing cards, these decks were created with beautiful pictures instead of numbers, and were used for card games and gambling in Japan. Nintendo's cards became really successful and popular throughout Japan. In fact, they were so popular that they even attracted the attention of the Yakuza. Oh my god. Those guys liked them so much that they even got tattoos inspired by the illustrations on Nintendo cards. The company was then formally established as an unlimited partnership titled Yamauchi Nintendo & Co. in 1933, and then changed the name again in 1951 to Nintendo Playing Card Co. In 1956, Hiroshi Yamauchi, the grandson of Nintendo's founder Fusajiro Yamauchi, visited the US to talk with the United States Playing Card Company. However, he found out the biggest playing card company in the world was using only a small office. Realizing that the business had limited potential and the declining favor of Hanafuda cards later on in the 1960s, Hiroshi renamed the company to Nintendo Co. and began venturing into new and different businesses. Unfortunately, this didn't go so well for the company. They set up a taxi company and then it failed. They set up a love hotel chain, ooh, spicy, and then failed. They set up a TV network and a food company, and those failed. In 1964, they were in shambles. All of their businesses were in ruins and all they had left were their playing cards. After the Tokyo Olympics, their card sales dropped and Nintendo's stock price plummeted to the lowest in their entire history. 60 yen, which equates to 72 cents in Canadian dollars and 56 cents in US dollars. You'd think they would give up at this point, but oh no! They actually later moved on into the toy industry afterwards and had limited success there. But it was not until they shifted their focus towards family entertainment that they would finally find some sort of success. They would develop a simulation game called the Laser Clay Shooting System. Basically those overhead projector shooting galleries you see at the arcade. But in the end, they managed to make enough money for them to explore into other options within the family entertainment and gaming industries, and so began their meteoric rise into the company they are today. Alright, so to anyone who hasn't fallen asleep to this presentation yet, I'm gonna have to give you the 1-2 knockout punch, because there's still a lot more to go. Around the time when Nintendo finally got a hold of what they wanted to do, video game arcades were booming, and it was their golden age. Arcade games within the 70s and 80s, such as Pac-Man and Space Invaders, became popular and widespread across all arcades, solidifying themselves as classics within the video game industry. And Nintendo jumped onto this opportunity. You see, Nintendo had been slowly climbing up the ladder to success. They profited off the distribution rights of the first home video game console, the Magnavox Odyssey, and had hired a certain student product developer by the name of Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Donkey Kong, The Legend of Zelda, and most importantly, Super Mario Bros. Donkey Kong was the first to release, and it became a huge success among arcades and video game systems of the time. They followed this with the release of Nintendo's first handheld console, the Game & Watch, and their first home video game console, drumroll please, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Woo! This console launched on July 15th, 1983, with the first Super Mario Bros. And sold a whopping 61 million units worldwide, revitalizing the video game industry after the video game crash of 1983. We don't talk about that, okay? After all of this, Nintendo became unstoppable. But how, you may ask? They continued to make more consoles and more video games, each one having their own distinct and familiar feeling to each generation. Isn't that amazing? They actually released the Game Boy 1 year before this, but all the consoles they released after that were as followed: 1995, Virtual Boy; 1996, Nintendo 64; 1998, Game Boy Color; 2001, GameCube and Game Boy Advance; 2004, Nintendo DS; 2006, Wii; 2011, 3DS; 2012, Wii U; and 2017, Nintendo Switch. But what did all of them have? All of them have Nintendo starting off with their name. Okay, so that means, yeah, you already know me. It's multi-product branding. Almost all of these systems were successful and sold millions and millions of copies, which leads us to today. Today, Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar company that has an estimated net worth of around $85 billion or more. Everyone practically knows who they are, from their successes with the Wii to their modern-day comeback with the Nintendo Switch. In my opinion, their major accomplishments revolve around their consoles: the Wii, the Nintendo DS, and the Nintendo Switch. The Wii is the most successful home console they had, with 101 million copies sold, and it's in the top 10 best-selling consoles of all time. And it uses a remote as a control? Woo! It's also the first console to fully implement motion control technology into its design and gameplay features. The DS though, it's on another level. It achieved the #1 spot for the best-selling handheld console with a whopping 154 million copies sold. The second best-selling video game platform of all time, only falling under the PlayStation 2 with 155 plus million copies sold. And it introduced the dual screen design with a foldable screen. But now we got the Nintendo Switch. It's the first hybrid video game console that can switch between being a home console and a portable console. That is the point of difference that makes it unique from its competitors. It fully implements all the unique features from the other Nintendo consoles and combines them into one. Oh my god! The console's life cycle is still at its maturity, and people still want to buy this, alright? I didn't even care how much this costed when I first bought it, alright? Because I didn't care about the price. I care about the quality. Yep, that's consumer perception right there, buddy. There's a reason why the brand equity of this company is really good. As for awards, they got a bunch of them. But most notably, Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, and Super Mario Galaxy are the most notable games, picking up the huge ones. Alright, here's my first question. How is Nintendo able to keep up with today's competitors within the gaming industry? In my opinion, it's because they prioritize gameplay, fun, and they target a wider audience than their competitors. They have many classics under their belt, and they have a lack of disappointing or failed first-party titles. The reputable developers and personality of their leading central figures of the companies, with their brilliant ethics, manages to make a lot of people become hardcore fans of their games. Nintendo knows what customers want. Fun and unique gameplay in this era of realistic but oversaturated amount of games that rely on simply visuals and graphics to get their game moving. Some of their games redefine genres, and all of them are designed to make the player have the most fun that they can have. Two games that come into mind: The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. The goal of an open world is to provide a playground in which the players can explore and move around in. In a lot of games today, the players usually control what they do in the open world and basically just, do whatever they want to do. But Breath of the Wild controls you, and it redefined what open worlds should be. It prompts the player to explore their surroundings with the enticing atmosphere and adventurous vibe that the game gives off. The game literally gives you a 1 to 2 minute tutorial and then sends you off into the world. Mario Odyssey is just pure fun. Its mechanics and platforming and everything. The thing is, when developing these games, Nintendo looked at their older games within these two franchises and asked themselves why people enjoyed these games so much. And they practically have no disappointing or failed first-party titles, while some of the other gaming giants, especially Microsoft, have a lot. Aside from their mobile games, I don't think there are any controversies around Nintendo that can threaten the company itself. Nintendo's really well known for having nice and charismatic leaders. People like Miyamoto, Reggie Fils-Aimé, and Iwata moved the industry forward. Nintendo's online service hasn't been the best, but their quality and image is what makes them wonderful. Their charity and community service work includes United Way of King County, helping the Starlight Children's Foundation, and Make-A-Wish Foundation as well. Alright, the boring stuff's done. People in the class can wake up now. Alright, 3 things. The Wii, the Wii U, and Nintendo Switch. The Wii U's marketing was garbage. The Wii U focused more on marketing for kids and children, which unfortunately didn't attract what their main audience was at the time, which were actually teenagers and adults. And also, why would you name your next console after your previous one? People will think that the Wii U is like an offspring from the Wii. It's not gonna look like next gen to them. This thing only sold 13.56 million consoles compared to the 101 million the Wii sold. The Wii's design was focused on marketing to families and to people who didn't play games at all. They made it look easy to use and accessible, with games advertised mainly for families and teenagers, adults alike. But Nintendo was like, nope, let's snap that away like Thanos. Literally, take a look at this advertisement.
You want a Wii U this holiday? We'll watch and learn. Here's Mom. We already have a Wii, Sweetiekins. Here's you. Wii U is a total upgrade, Mother. Did you get younger? It has Super Mario 3D World, Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker HD, and Rayman Legends. Oh, yeah. And it comes with 2 free games. Hot buttered popcorn, that's a deal.
Why? Stop! Why? I'm actually about to throw him in. Now look at the Nintendo Switch ads. Oh my, so perfect, man. You got the gang throwing hands in the garage. You got the boys with FIFA. You know they tried to fix the mistakes that the Wii U had with its target market. They targeted families again, groups of friends that party all the time, groups of friends that game all the time, children, teenagers, adults. They targeted a broader audience, which they have successfully managed to achieve through their previous consoles. The Wii opened the gate to many new consumers that never touched a video game in their life. Families, children, and non-gamers. They already had many consumers that are mature age through their childhood experiences with the older Nintendo consoles. And now the Switch is a success. The channel of distributions are popping off, alright? The direct channel of distribution through their Nintendo stores placed around the world, the indirect distributions going through the Amazon, the EB Games, the GameStop. In the span of 3 years, it has beaten the sales of the Xbox One, a console released 7 years ago. 49 million copies of Nintendo Switches sold compared to the 45 million the Xbox One has today. Oh my god. Alright, so we have one more quick topic to cover before we go to the big stuff. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the 5th installment within the series and is the best-selling fighting game of all time. It's where all the Nintendo stars from across the games come into one game to But wait! These characters aren't from my Nintendo games! You see, Nintendo and Sakurai, the creator of the game, are geniuses. So take in, to put these characters into their game, they would have to meet with the people who made that character's game and ask if they can implement the character within Smash. The guys at the company will probably ask, Yo, give me something of that royalty. And they probably will. And the thing with Smash is, it's a really popular game. The esports events promote it really well. It's really popular among children, and it's really easy to play. And better yet, it's the best-selling fighting game of all time. Who wouldn't want their characters to get that large amount of publicity? That free, nice publicity. And bada bing, bada boom! Nintendo was able to make easy money off of the players who played those characters as games. The other company will get more publicity to their games and to themselves. And more players will check out that character's game. And boom! Nintendo and that other company will now have business opportunities together once again. Since they partnered once, they can probably partner twice. The Nintendo Switch has only dropped in price by $20 in these last 3 years. And there's a big demand for it. The supply and demand theory, by the way. And a big reason for it is because of all the great games and stuff they put out onto the Switch. But how do you do it? The super major events where game companies can showcase their games will be at E3 and the Game Awards. But that probably won't be enough for Nintendo. See, there's a thing called the Nintendo Direct. These usually happen around 4 times a year, and this is usually really big. It's their way of media advertising. It advertises and promotes upcoming games to hundreds of thousands of viewers, and depending on the occasion, probably millions. It's a huge event like none other and generates a lot of hype. Influencers and content creators will react with their audience. It gets them a lot of publicity. Media will scramble to create their articles on the new Nintendo Direct. Reaction videos will be posted with hundreds of thousands of views, probably millions. People will be talking about it on social media. It'll pretty much be trending worldwide in the top 10 for Twitter. This is Nintendo's secret weapon. This is how they make a lot of sales. No other company does this successfully. Who cares about billboards or posters when you have this happening? And I'll show you just in a few, because I need to stall so that this music can time with what I am going to say, or what I'm going to show, perfectly. Wake up now! So I want whoever who is sleeping in the class right now to stop sleeping and look up for just these few seconds, and then you can go back. I just want you to witness how crazy these things can be. Oh my God! Hey, thanks for watching the presentation. I have one more question though, so let me just ask it right now. With the PS5 and Xbox Series X coming out next year, what can Nintendo do to combat the next generation of consoles? In my opinion, they just gotta keep doing what they gotta keep doing. Alright, they have a lot of games coming out. They have a lot of stuff in the works as well. They're probably gonna be a Switch Pro, but it's gonna be tough for them next year. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.